Chris Lee and Blake Lovell here to preview SEC football action this week. We are discussing Tennessee's road trip to LSU. Vols are roughly 3.5-point favorites, depending on where you see it. Tennessee, of course, coming off a bye week. LSU got a big come-from-behind win at Auburn. I think was behind 17-0. And just LSU made plays when it had to, setting up a very exciting matchup this weekend. Tennessee, of course, unbeaten. LSU has lost a game. It lost its opener to Florida State in a game the Tigers would probably like to have back. Boy, like this should be fun. This will be a noon game on noon Eastern on ESPN. Would love to see this one at night in Tiger Stadium. The Vols probably would not. But either way, I don't care when you play. This should be an excellent matchup between two teams that have played really well lately.
Yeah, a lot at stake here. We talked about LSU possibly, their upcoming schedule. We've said this is such a huge game because if they can win this one, Blaine was kind of talking about just the possible setup for them to to reel off some wins here, and coming back, winning that game against Auburn, now getting a Tennessee team that is well rested after that game against Florida. So they've had the week off. Tennessee's already been on the road this year, played that wild game at Pittsburgh, and now hits the road again for a tough task here because, like we said, LSU has really come along, go all the way back to game one to where they are right now, how they were able to kind of rally against Auburn. They got a lot of confidence heading into this one. So both teams riding high here heading into this matchup.
I think we've got a really interesting matchup on both sides of the ball. When Tennessee's got it, Vols averaging 48.5 points a game, LSU giving up 14.8. Vols averaging 11.3 per pass. That's incredible. 6.7 is what LSU is giving up per throw. Tennessee averaging 4.3 per rush. That includes sack yardage coming out of that. LSU giving up 3.4 per rush. I think this matchup is fascinating in so many ways, but LSU's defense has been pretty good. Be interesting to see if they can stop Hendon Hooker, who is a Heisman contender, and a very high-powered Vol offense.
We were talking about that Auburn game, and early on, we saw Auburn pass the ball against LSU's defense, and we were trying to figure out what was going
I
on, right? Like
know,
we were
yeah.
really trying to figure that out. But as we saw, things sort of corrected themselves in the other direction because after that, what, Chris? I mean, Auburn didn't score the rest of the game, basically. They didn't score in the second half. So I think that's something where you would maybe be a bit more concerned, which you're already going to be a little concerned about the matchup, knowing Tennessee's offense and what they can do. But at least, you kind of blank Auburn in the second half there and feel a little bit better about things if you're LSU heading into this one. But it is going to be a challenge, like you said. I mean, you look at kind of where things stand here and what we've seen with LSU's defense versus what we've seen with Tennessee's offense, which with Hendon Hooker leading the way, they have just put up a lot of points. You always have to keep it in context. Yes, they put up, a lot of points against Ball State and Akron, but still, I think to kind of see the plays that they made against a Pitt, against a Florida, what this offense is capable of. So it does make for an interesting matchup here against, especially that we talked about that front for LSU, the defensive front, and what kind of havoc could they wreak. That's going to be huge in this game because, again, if you let Tennessee do what they do best, they're going to put up points no matter what. So,
well, here's something to watch for the Vols is whether Cedric Tillman returns. And it sounds like it's very up in the air as we do this on Sunday night. And
yeah.
For people who don't know, Cedric Tillman is their best offensive player, not named Hendon Hooker. He's a first-team All-SEC receiver. Look, Tennessee has some wide receiver depth without him, but Cedric Tillman is huge to this offense. I mean, they did it without him against Florida, but it's going to be a little more interesting at LSU without him, I think, which we're not saying they're without him, but we are saying you want to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bye week came at the right time to give him that opportunity to kind of sit back and get that extra week. But again, as we're recording this on Sunday night, we have no idea if he's going to play or not. But it's significant one way or the other. That takes away, if you're LSU's defense and you don't have to game plan for him, that allows you certainly a lot more opportunity to focus on the other guys who can still make plays, but a Cedric Tillman is a Cedric Tillman, right? Like he is somebody when he's on the field, he's on the field. And so, yeah, that's a big dynamic that again we can't predict at this moment just because we don't know how that plays out. So
Before we talk about the other side of the ball, quick word from our sponsor, Stakes. That is Stakes. Very fun app where you can go every week. You can place bets on games. No cost to join, no cost to bet. You get tokens. You can match wits against us and your friends. You can win NFTs. So everything to like here. You can play for free. You can have fun. You can challenge your friends. You can challenge us. If you beat us, let us know about it too. But anyway, go to Stakes. That's Stakes. Get that in your app store. Have some fun and follow along with us this season. Okay, when LSU's got the ball, Blake, Tigers averaging 35.6 points a game. Tennessee giving up 19. LSU averaging 6.1 per play. Tennessee giving up 5.3. Tigers averaging 7.2 per pass. Tennessee giving up 7.0. LSU averaging 5.1 a rush. And the Vols only giving up 3 a rush. Again, those stats are not adjusted for sacks, so sacks come off the rushing total. I think the big thing, Blake, is Jayden Daniels. He went out of that Auburn game, and whether it's him or Garrett Nussmeier, or they've got a 5-star freshman, I think Walker Howard, waiting in the wings. I wouldn't think they'd go to him in that spot. But that's the thing to watch. I don't know what the latest update is on the quarterback situation, but that is something you're definitely going to want to know going into this one.
yep, and you know what Daniels brings to the table, not just someone who can, try to get the playmakers involved on the outside, but also able to do a lot of things with his legs, and that's something that would put undoubtedly, some challenges on that Tennessee defense, and I think that, like you said, it's we do these when we do them, knowing that there's just still some information we don't know, but we try to give you the best analysis we can, not knowing some of the more important things that will factor into that. But we always update you on Wednesday nights on our live stream, so be sure to check that out for more thoughts on this game. But yeah, I mean, it's look, Chris, Tennessee's defense, we've said it has not been without its issues at times. And I think, we always talk about in these kind of games specifically giving up the big play. And I think that's where, you kind of look at it here. I mean, LSU, we know they can make some big plays. They've got some guys that can do that. It's just again, what does the situation look like under center? We don't know that necessarily as we're recording this. But I think this is one of those games if you're Tennessee defensively, you love to see come out and do some things. Again, we kind of saw late in that Florida game, that one, there were some plays obviously in that Pitt game they give up, but it's going to be a challenge because we saw Chris, right? I mean, look at a team like Mississippi State, that goes into LSU and just some different dynamics in play there, just knowing kind of what you're going to run into with that. So I think Tennessee's defense here, how they game plan around this LSU offense, going to be kind of fascinating. So
Statistically here, LSU was very lucky to win that Auburn game on the road. Turnovers were the difference. Auburn kept giving it to LSU and squandering opportunities, and that's something to watch. Tennessee +3 in turnovers. Hendon Hooker hasn't thrown an interception since about the time Donald Trump was president, it seems like. Hasn't thrown one this year. LSU +5 in turnovers. So Tigers creating some opportunities of their own. Blake, I'll be honest. I don't have a great read on this game. I think I want to know a little more on health. I might make the call of Tennessee to win and LSU to cover just to totally ride the fence here. But I would be lying if I told you I had a great read on this game just because Tennessee's been so good this year and LSU really since that Florida State debacle, the game I'm sure it still feels like it should have won, is played very well.
I think, for LSU, this is a game they need this to be an Auburn type game, meaning what was the final score of that game, Chris? 21-17.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I don't know if they hold Tennessee to 17, but I do think defensively there are some things that LSU will be able to do that maybe Tennessee has not seen to this point. With again, whether that's Florida, whether that's Pitt, um, I think there are some things just with this defense, knowing the talent that's on that side of the ball and some of the things the LSU can do there from their strengths. I think they can slow down Tennessee. Speed wise, Tennessee's going to keep, we know the tempo is going to be there. They're going to be rolling. But I think my go to in these situations is, what have I said since July? Like, I think Tennessee is the third best team in the SEC. To this point, I have no reason kind of to go against that. They're coming off of a bye. They've had a little time to kind of regroup, maybe work on some of those things defensively they didn't love in the Florida game. Down the stretch there, some of those different things. And I think just preparing for this offense, as we've seen for everybody to this point, right, Chris? Everybody on Tennessee's schedule, preparing for this offense is very tough. Whether you're preparing with or without Cedric Tillman, that's the question as we're doing this preview. But I think I'm going to stick with Tennessee winning this game. But like you said, I don't have a great feel, to be honest with you, just how this one's going to play out from a score line standpoint. Because again, if Daniels is in there, I think LSU offensively can keep up with Tennessee in terms of being able to put up some points. Because I think being able to do some of those things against Tennessee defense, I think LSU can do that. But I just don't know right now. Like I said, until I see someone stop Tennessee, I'm gonna keep kind of leaning on that, and so I'll pick the Vols to win this one.
Yeah, predicted final using over-unders and lines is around 32-27 in Tennessee's favor. So if you're
Huge
wondering
game for
what kind
both
of base,
teams. It's just
huge
it's a
game.
huge
Yeah.
game when you look at both teams moving forward. Like we said, we did the little video. Blaine talked about it, talking about LSU as a possible SEC West title contender. Like, we're not joking here, especially now when you look at the Alabama situation, right, Chris? Like, there's a lot of things at play here, and especially for Tennessee moving forward. When you look at how Georgia's kind of played the past couple weeks, this is a huge, huge game.
Yeah, we will have some updates on our Wednesday night live stream, so be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again with every preview of every SEC game this week. We'll have it up at our channel. Best way to catch them all, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.